How do values relate to career fulfillment? Right? You hear a lot of people talk about having and knowing your values, or maybe you've heard of this whole concept around arranging or prioritizing your values. But what are values? I mean, a lot of people, when they think about values, they talk about what they should do. Like, I value education because I should go to school. I should go to school and get good grades in school, or I should go to a good college so that I can increase my chances of getting a good job. But whenever you use the word should or ought, it's not your values that are speaking. It is the value of other people that you have adopted as your own, right? So in this video, I want to share with you how values are important for career fulfillment, and what does it have to do with fulfillment, and what does it have to do with self-discovery. So first of all, what are values, right? Values are the principles and the standards that guide your actions, right? They dictate the manner, and they dictate how you perform, and they dictate your actions. And this is very different, right? Your values are very different from beliefs, they're very different from social idealisms, and they're very different from norms, right? Because a belief is really nothing more than a thought with a huge sense of certainty behind that thought. When you believe in something and you believe that it is true, you have a great deal of certainty about it, about that thought, and that's what a belief is. So when we have a belief about something, we start to look at the world as if that was true, and then we start to create references of how that is true, and that's what a belief is. Social idealisms, on the other hand, is whatever we think of as a socially acceptable way of thinking and a socially acceptable way of believing, right? And a culture has a lot to do with social norms. And it's more likely to reflect, like social idealisms are more likely to reflect your ideas of how you should do something, or what you ought to do, or something you feel you might have to do, and in ways that you might have to behave, rather than what you truly value most. So that's why it's very important to be very intentional around having clarity of what you value, right? Because values can come from different places. They could come from observing your parents growing up. They can come from having a very traumatic experience when we were younger, and then having someone come and counsel you in that traumatic experience and tell you things that you just adopt as your own without questioning them, and without asking yourself whether or not that is truly something you find important or that aligns with who you are as an individual, right? And so it's really important to be able to strip away, if you did not care what other people think, if you were not affected by criticism, if you did not make decisions and choose behaviors to maintain peace with any relationship, what would you be doing? What would be important to you then? What would you value then? Right? That is a value that is yours, a value that is truly from your inner self, from your higher self, from your authentic self, rather than a value from another person or another institution that you have adopted as your own. Right? So norms, on the other hand, are standards or rules that tell other people in a society how they should behave. Like, for example, when you know, I don't know about you, but when I grew up in elementary school, all throughout high school as well, there was a social norm that you should stand up when they're playing the national anthem, right? I went to high school in Canada, and we played the Canadian national anthem every morning before the first class started. So at 8:30 every morning, there would be the national anthem, O Canada, played over the intercom. And as a student body, everyone in their homeroom classrooms would stand up when the national anthem is being played, and that was a social norm, right? And so when you're thinking about your standards, their standards create your behaviors, right? The principles in which you operate. The principles are yours, they're authentically yours, and they really dictate how you operate and how you perform and how you weather the storms that will necessarily come in your career path and in your life. So values have everything to do with fulfillment, because if you are authentically clear on your values, then you're operating according to what you deem as important. If, on the other hand, if you are operating on shoulds and have-tos, then at some point in life, later on down the path, you'll realize that something about it feels inauthentic, something about it feels inauthentic, and therefore something about it feels empty, right? And maybe it could also feel like you're not making a contribution in your fullest potential, right? And there's a lot of conversation around something feels empty about what I'm doing, and I just can't quite put my finger on it. And those feelings are opportunities to explore whether or not you have chosen according to your highest values, according to values that are authentic to you, and not values that you've adopted as someone else's over the years and just accepted those as yours, but didn't take the time to question and reflect on the truthfulness of that, right? And so if you are operating on your true values, that is the path to career fulfillment and fulfillment in life, because you know that your performance, right, and your confidence is all around, and your self-esteem is all around, well, did you or did you not take the actions that were in alignment with your purpose, right? Did you or did you not make decisions that were truthful, that were authentic to you? And if you did, then you can have gratitude, right? You can be thankful that you had that awareness to do so. And that is a stronger foundation to build your self-esteem. And so it has everything to do with fulfillment for that reason. And also because fulfillment, right, true fulfillment is knowing that we made a meaningful contribution. But a meaningful contribution to you is meaningful because it was authentically meaningful. Right? It came from you and not from someone else. It came from your own values, the lens at which you see the world, a lens at which you deem as important to you, and not from someone else's lens. So that's why values have everything to do with creating a fulfilling career, and also writing a destiny that is fulfilling to you. Right? And so if you found value in what I'm saying, if you're listening to this right now and it is resonating with you, then I invite you to like this video. And as well, remember to ring that bell below so that you can subscribe to my channel and receive an update every time I upload a new video. Right? And I also want to hear from you. Right? Comment below. What are your highest values? Right? What are your highest values? And what are some things that you're going to change as a result of what you've learned in this video? So let me hear from you, and I look forward to chatting with you again in my next video.